Everyone's talking about index funds, and you've been nodding along pretending you know what they are. Let's fix that. This is the Real Money Brief. No gatekeeping, no jargon, just real money advice. Your coworker mentioned them. Some finance guy on social media won't stop posting about them. But honestly, nobody ever actually explained it. Until now. What even is an index fund? Let's start from zero. The stock market is made up of thousands of companies. Apple, Amazon, Tesla, Google, JP Morgan, thousands of them, all trading every single day. An index is just a list of some of those companies grouped together to represent a slice of the market. The most famous one is the S&P 500. That's a list of the 500 largest companies in the United States. When people say the market was up today, they're usually talking about the S&P 500. An index fund is a fund that buys all the stocks on that list automatically. So when you buy one share of an S&P 500 index fund, you instantly own a tiny piece of all 500 of those companies. Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, Amazon. All of them in one purchase. That's it. That's an index fund. Why not just pick stocks? Here's where it gets interesting. And where most people get it wrong. The idea of picking individual stocks sounds exciting. Find the next big company before everyone else does. Buy low, sell high, retire early. Great story. The problem is the data tells a completely different one. Study after study shows that roughly 90% of professional fund managers, people whose entire job is to pick stocks, with teams of analysts and access to data you'll never see, failed to beat the market over a 10-year period. Not most of them. 9 out of 10. So if the professionals can't consistently beat the market, what chance does the average person have picking stocks in their free time? That's the whole argument for index funds. Instead of trying to beat the market, you just own the market. You stop trying to find the winner and just buy all of them. The math that makes this insane. Here's where compound interest turns this from a good idea into a life-changing one. The S&P 500 has returned an average of about 10% per year historically, roughly 7% after adjusting for inflation. That number is not guaranteed going forward, but it's what the last century of data shows. So let's say you invest $200 a month starting at age 22. You put it into an S&P 500 index fund and you don't touch it. At 7% average annual return, by the time you're 62, you'd have roughly $525,000 from $200 a month. Now let's say you wait until 32 to start. Same $200 a month, same 7% return. By 62, you'd have about $243,000. You waited 10 years, and it cost you nearly $280,000. That's compound interest, and index funds are one of the cleanest ways to access it. What about risk? Fair question, and an important one. Index funds are not risk-free. If the market drops, your index fund drops with it. In 2008, the S&P 500 lost about 37% of its value. In early 2020, it dropped 34% in a matter of weeks. But here's what happened both times. It came back, and then it went higher. The S&P 500 has recovered from every single crash in its history. Every one. Sometimes recovery took years, but it always came. That doesn't mean it always will, but decades of market data going back to the 1920s say the long-term direction is up. The key word there is long-term. Index funds are not a get-rich-quick play. They're a get-rich-slowly, don't-have-to-think-about-it-every-day play. If you need the money in 2 years, this isn't the right move. If you're investing for 10, 20, 30 years, the math is hard to argue with. How do you actually buy one? This is where people freeze up, but it's genuinely simple. Step 1. Open a brokerage account. If you're in the US, Fidelity, Vanguard, and Schwab are the 3 biggest options. All free to open, no minimums on most accounts. Step 2. search for an index fund. The three most popular S&P 500 index funds are VOO from Vanguard, FXAIX from Fidelity, and SPY from State Street. Any of those works. They all track the same index. Step 3. Buy a share, or even a fraction of one. Most brokerages now offer fractional shares, so you can start with literally $1 if that's what you've got. Apps like Robinhood and Acorns are great if you want to start with just a few bucks and skip the more traditional brokerage setup. That's the whole process. 3 steps. 1 number you need to know: expense ratio. Before you buy anything, check the expense ratio. That's the annual fee the fund charges you, expressed as a percentage of your investment. For index funds, this should be very low. VOO charges 0.03% per year. FXAIX charges 0.015%. That means on a $10,000 investment, you're paying about $3 a year in fees. Compare that to actively managed funds, where a human is picking the stocks, which often charge 1% or more. On $10,000, that's $100 a year. On $100,000, that's $1,000 a year. And remember, those managers usually don't even beat the index they're charging you to beat. Low expense ratio, that's the number to watch. Where should you hold it? One last thing, and this matters more than most people realize. Where you hold your index fund affects how much you pay in taxes on the gains. If you hold it inside a Roth IRA, your growth is completely tax-free. You pay no taxes when you sell, no taxes on dividends, nothing. That's the best-case scenario. If you hold it inside a traditional 401k, your contributions are pre-tax and you pay taxes when you withdraw in retirement. Still great. If you hold it in a regular brokerage account, you pay capital gains taxes when you sell. Still fine, just less efficient than the first two. The priority order: Roth IRA first, 401k second, regular brokerage third. The investment is the same. Where you put it changes how much of it you actually keep. The bottom line: index funds work because they're simple, cheap, diversified, and backed by a century of market data. You don't need to be a finance expert. You don't need to watch the market every day. You don't need to pick the right company at the right time. You just need to start. Put money in consistently. Don't panic when it drops. Let time do the work. The people who build real wealth aren't usually the ones making the flashiest moves. They're the ones who started early, stayed consistent, and let compound interest do what it does. If this finally made index funds click for you, hit the like button. It actually matters for the algorithm. And subscribe to The Real Money Brief. No gatekeeping, no jargon, just real money advice for people who are done being confused about this stuff. And if you've got a friend who keeps asking you what an index fund is, send them this video. It might be the most useful thing they watch this week.